All right, let's get right into it. We all ask questions, right? It's how we check if people are actually getting it. But what if the way we usually do it, the classic hands up, is actually making things worse? What if it's getting in the way of real understanding? That's what we're going to dig into today. How to turn our questions from just an activity into a super powerful tool for seeing what people really know. So picture this. I mean, we've all seen it a million times. You're in a meeting, a training, whatever. You ask a great question, and one person's hand just shoots up. They nail the answer. And you feel great, right? It feels like, yes, progress. But hold on a second. If we really stop and think about it, what information did you actually just get? Here's the thing. You know what one person thinks. And really, it's just what that one confident person thinks. That's it. You have absolutely zero data on anybody else in that room. Are they totally with you? Are they completely lost? You have no clue. And that is the big problem we're going to tackle.
So this all comes down to a really fundamental shift in how we think about questions. We have to stop just asking for an answer and start asking for evidence. I mean, look at the difference here. The goal isn't just to get a correct response. The goal is to get data on what the whole group understands. We're shifting away from measuring who's confident to measuring who actually comprehends the material.
Yeah, this is what some people call the illusion of learning. That quick show of hands feels so productive, it feels like success. But a lot of the time, it's just a mirage. It only tells you who's brave enough to speak up, not who's actually learned the concept. So, to see what's really going on under the surface, we're going to need some different tools.
Okay, so let's get into those tools. We're going to start with three sort of foundational principles. These ideas are what's behind every single high-impact questioning technique we're going to talk about. This is really where we make that big shift from just getting answers to gathering real evidence.
Okay, first up, every single question needs a crystal clear purpose. Are you just checking if they remember something, or are you trying to probe for deeper understanding? Second, and this is a big one, we have to drill it into our heads that hands up is not evidence of learning. And third, you've got to know why you're picking a certain technique. Is the goal to get everyone involved, or is it to hunt for a very specific misunderstanding? Your strategy has to be deliberate.
All right, let's jump into our first toolkit. This whole section is about one thing: total participation. We're talking techniques to make sure every single brain in the room is switched on, not just the two people who always answer. First one is cold call. And I know, this one sometimes has a bad rap. But when it's done right, it is not about putting people on the spot or catching them out. It's actually a tool for inclusion. It just means the leader picks who answers instead of asking for volunteers. That way, everyone knows they need to be ready. And it's often paired with this really powerful idea called no opt-out. This isn't about pressure, it's a promise. It means if you're stuck, I'm not moving on. I'm going to help you, maybe get a hint from a friend, until you can say the right answer. It's about making sure everyone gets to be successful. So here's how the routine works, and the key is that it's super calm and predictable. Step 1, you ask your question to everybody. Step 2, and this part is absolutely critical, you pause. You give them actual silent time to think. Step 3, then you say the person's name. And finally, step 4, you're ready to jump in with support if they need it so they can get to the right answer. The whole goal is success.
And in practice, it sounds really simple and routine. Just something like, okay, everyone, think about your answer. 3, 2, 1. Jamie, what have you got for us? See, it's not scary. The expectation is just super clear. Everyone needs to think because it could be your turn next. It really builds this culture where everyone's in it together. Okay, next up is a classic for a reason. Think, pair, share. This one is more student-led, and its magic is that it gives everyone crucial time to process their thoughts and even rehearse their answer. They think on their own, then they chat with a partner, and only then does anyone share out to the bigger group. Now, the real power here is in the structure. This is not just, hey, turn and talk. Step 1, think, is totally silent, and you might even time it. Step 2, pair, is structured so person A talks, person B listens, then they switch. And step 3, share, is where you might cold call a pair to share their best idea. That built-in rehearsal time makes a huge difference in the quality of the answers you'll get.
Okay, so we've got ways to get everyone thinking. But what about getting a quick read on the room? Like an instant snapshot of what the entire group gets in a single moment. For that, we need techniques for instant feedback.
Now, this next one is honestly maybe the most powerful diagnostic tool you can have. It's called a hinge question.
Basically, it's a super carefully crafted multiple choice question that you ask at a critical hinge point in a lesson. A point where their understanding hinges on getting this one concept right. And based on their answers, you know immediately if you should move on or if you need to stop and go back.
Check out this example. The brilliance of a good hinge question is that the wrong answers are just as important as the right one. Here, A is correct, but the wrong answers, B and C, are designed to catch specific mistakes. If someone picks B, you know they're probably confusing metaphors and similes. If they pick C, they're not getting the idea of figurative language at all. Every single choice gives you incredibly valuable data.
So you pop the question up, everyone votes, and boom. Instantly, you get a data snapshot that looks something like this. And you can see, okay, 65% got it right, that's pretty good. But whoa, look at that big slice. 30% of the group picked B. That's not just random guessing. You now have solid proof of a very common, very specific misconception. And this is the whole point. You act on that data right then and there. You saw that huge group confusing similes and metaphors, so you don't just blow past it. You stop. You reteach that one specific thing, maybe with a different example, and then you check again. That's what it means to be truly responsive.
Another amazing tool for getting that instant feedback is the good old mini whiteboard. So simple, but so effective. Everyone jots down their answer, and then on the count of 3, they all hold them up. And just like that, in like 5 seconds, you can scan the room and see every single person's answer. And the wins here are just huge. I mean, you get 100% participation, you spot misconceptions instantly, and it's actually great for building confidence because people can write and erase and fix their answer in private before the big reveal. It's a classic low-stakes, high-information move.
Okay, so we've got all these awesome techniques in our toolkit, but the real magic happens when you stop just using them randomly and start being super strategic about which one you use and when. This is what that strategic planning actually looks like. You start by thinking about your purpose. If it's just checking if they remember a fact, maybe a quick cold call is perfect. If you're at a major hinge point, you'll want that whole class voting. But the most important column here is the last one. If they're wrong, I will. You decide in advance what your move is going to be. Are you going to reteach? Are you going to give them a sentence stem to help them get started? That proactive planning, that's the real game changer.
So really, if you boil it all down, it comes to this simple 3-part loop that you should run through for any important question you ask. Number 1, what's my purpose? Number 2, what's the best technique to get the evidence I need? And number 3, what am I going to do with that evidence once I have it? Nailing those 3 things is how you go from just asking to actually understanding.
And honestly, this right here really says it all. The goal isn't just about asking better questions. It's about getting better evidence of learning. The moment you start seeing your questions as a diagnostic tool, as a way to make thinking visible, that's when everything changes. So I'll just leave you with this final thought. The very next time you're about to ask a question to a group, just pause. And instead of thinking about the answer you're hoping to hear, ask yourself a different question. What evidence am I going to look for to see what they really, truly understand?